This is what is on the front page of the People Daily. Also, they're probing how this will be also affecting the 2022 elections as well. Census results to shape 2022 election trends. It is given here, well, I tabulated for you the top 5 counties. Nairobi County leading there, then followed by Kiambu, which Kimani Wamatangi is disputing. We have Nakuru and Kakamega as well. Bonny Khalwale is not comfortable with that. And Bungoma, also we have the bottom 5 counties, Lamu, Isiolo, Samburu, Tana River and Taita Taveta as well. So you can grab a copy of the People Daily as well, or also you can head over to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics website for you to download the current census report, which is being debated this morning. So we promise to circle back with the Jakoyo then Wamatangi.
Yes, well, you know, my views are generally like those of Bonny Khalwale. I want to agree with Wamatangi only on one fact, that I think Kiambu has generally been over the years been undercounted population-wise. But I don't agree that this time around they're not undercounted. I thought this census was generally to correct and assuage their ego that they have always been undercounted. You know, somebody has just sent a tweet saying that they are even listed as arid and semi-arid. Now they are people. The census seems to show that their numbers increased by over 800,000 people, meaning in Kiambu County nearly 10,000 people get. There are nearly 10,000 births per month. I don't think so, because I know Wamatangi's people, they keep one child, one wife, and property and money. I also agree that if anybody was to have that many children, beginning with Bonny, I think Kakamega would be the one having the 10,000 births. But they are having only 2,000. So something is unusual about these things. It's good to talk about them. I noticed yesterday when 12 years ago there were 216,000 voters in Tharaka Nithi, and now their whole census is 393,000 people. Something is seriously unusual, because if they had 216,000 who voted and they didn't vote 100%, does it mean that this Tharaka Nithi thing, you know, how then are they just 393,000? They're either undercounted or they were overcounted before. I also see, so there's so many things that Kisumu County and Siaya County have the same population. Kisumu is a city, the third largest city in the country.
It's not possible.
It is not possible that Kisumu can have under 1 million people.
Kisumu is more by about 200,000.
Yes, 200,000 and 900,000, really. What is the difference? I mean, if you take Manyata, Kondele, and all those, you are talking serious populations. So something is amiss. Something is amiss, and we should not be fooled, because somebody must come and explain to Kenyans, why did we count people using machines in the Huduma number, and these ones, which these people are using mobile phones, and I saw the president erroneously praising this process. The Huduma number seemed much more comprehensive, that counting. But nobody has talked to us. They even went ahead and said they that they established that 50 million people got counted. Now, 3 million in a population of 50 million or 47 million, 3 million is such a big variance. So we know our history in the past has been that these figures have always been doctored. We know Wamatangi and his group were making a lot of noise a year ago, and nobody saw or even can explain why they went quiet. It's because there was somebody doing something. And I can tell you, you can't fault us. For if we didn't see the clerks counting people, you can't even fault us. But the truth is that in this, now that we have these figures, Debal, something must happen. The distribution of resources, and I agree with the president, how we have been divvying up resources, how Kiambu can have 2.4 million people and get less money than Turkana when people are dividing, that question must be answered and be answered immediately. Because they need resources commensurate with their numbers. So even though Wamatangi is complaining, Wamatangi should be complaining about this bad formula that gives money to more money to fewer people and less money to more people. Thank you.
Right. So, Wamatangi, we finalize with you.
Yes,
First of all, can you justify why Kiambu County is a Nassau county?
You want me to start with that one?
Yes, I wanted to start with that one.
Okay, why don't you have allowed me to start with my own, my information. I mean, I'll be answering the question, but Dibal all the time, allow me to have my own frame of mind and my flow. But I'll answer the questions. But if you want me to start there, I can. You know, Dibal, most people do not know the boundaries of Kiambu and where they are. Indeed, for a long time, Kiambu has been perceived to be Kiambu Road, from Muthaiga driving upwards to Kiambu town or along Thika Highway. People do not know that Kiambu on the lower side borders Kajiado County. And on the lower eastern side, we border Narok. Those are our neighbors. And boundaries are not drawn in Kiambu from where green leafy trees start. Those are boundaries that were drawn a long time ago. For purposes of clarity, even to the voter, to the person who has asked that question, a quarter or more than a quarter of Kiambu lies within the same climatic conditions that are in Narok, that are also in Kajiado. When you are in a place called Ndeya, and I'm sure this has featured quite a lot, even in some presentations, including donors and well-wishers abroad. That has been one of the most neglected areas. That's a place where, Dibal, I got baptized Wamatangi myself, from that arid area. Because this is where I started my project of going to give people water tanks, because there is even no access to water. It's the first time, can you believe, Dibal, in Kiambu, 1 year ago, it is the first time that section has had 1 kilometer of tarmac. First tarmac road was done 1 year ago in that area. That's Kiambu. And you know, we have been victims of this perception that because one person or a few people did well in the earlier days of Akina Jenga Karome and Ngori, and who people believe that Kiambu is a rich man's land. It isn't. We are struggling, we are needy, we want services just like every other Kenyan. So, indeed, during the days of Paul Mwite as the member of parliament for then the Kikuyu, which combined Kabete and Kikuyu, this is when this motion was brought to parliament. That why do we have such a big section of Kiambu when other people are being considered for including rations then? We are not considered. And so that answers the question. And Dibal, if you give me an opportunity when I'm coming next time, I will come with a clean, clear topographical map of Kiambu. And please beam it there so that we don't have to answer this question again. Lastly, let me very quickly answer these two questions by Otiende Ambola. And Otiende Ambola, you know, you're my friend, and I respect you a lot as a lawyer. And I know you have a lot. But, you know, admittedly, even from yourself, you cannot be the best lawyer and then claim to be an analyst in mathematics, and of course, I know you used a lot of those terms, algorithms and whatever during the case, but these were terms that these were terms that you got to make an argument in a case, but you cannot. And so when I'm talking about numbers, I would spar with you with kid gloves, because I know you are good at drawing the constitution, but not the numbers, you know. And also you also admitted that you have not looked at this report with a toothpick. Please, after this, I know you will take your toothpick and look at the numbers. One of the facts you will note from this report is that one of the counties that have got a very surprising or shocking demography of transitioning voters into the next generation of voters is Kiambu County. Because most of us are within that upper echelon of people who are above 15 and onwards. Such that then during the voting, and you can look at the number now of 2.4 million people, during voting you would be expecting that at least 80% of adults, if not more, in Kiambu, and please look at the numbers as reported, would be voting. And so even if you went by that number, which I do not agree with, of 2.4 million people, you would be having some more people voting. And you're talking about a report of since 2009. And the numbers you're looking at are for 2017 voting, just less than 2 years ago. So out of these 2.4 million people in 2017, how many are likely to have been voting 2 years ago? There are certainly more than 1.2 million. And so that's why I said I don't want to hit on you about numbers. If it was about the law, I would raise my hands and say we can talk about this. But on this one, I believe you are wrong. That the numbers in Kiambu indeed are higher than that. Boni Halwale, you know, you have got this, and you know, I met you a lot of times in Juja, my friend. You know, I went with you personally myself to Thika. I took you to Kiambu town myself. When we were within public accounts, I went with you to Wangige. What is this that you're telling people that Kiambu was being assisted to have numbers? You know that there is a report, Dibal, that says the population of Nairobi in the daytime is 7 million. At night it is 4 million. Those 3 million people, you hear that come to work in Nairobi in the daytime, majority of them live in Kiambu. That is why we have been complaining that our agricultural land now in Kiambu has been converted into concrete jungle. Because if you go to Ruaka now, Ruaka is like Githurai with flats. If you go to Kiambu town, now the little land that was between Kiambu town and Nairobi has been bridged by estates. The same thing is happening as you're driving towards your home in Malinya. You pass through Keno and Udhiru and Kikuyu town and Zambezi. Those are high-rise buildings all over. They accommodate people. That's where the world has come, because housing is cheaper in Kiambu. Those are now residents of Kiambu. If you have thought that the people who are there are being counted as residents of or people from Kakamega, they're not. Those are people in Kiambu. That's why I'm saying let us get the numbers correct, because these people draw services from the county government of Kiambu. And unless we get this right, we are going to continue to suffer. And I have to make this case very, very clearly. I don't want to belabor the point.
Okay, Wamatangi, your time is up now.
No, I mean, but I had 3 questions.
Three questions from...
I was just responding. I have not even... I just answered with the questions
we need to turn the crack to other matters as well.
Yeah, but do you want me to leave the questions pending? Because there was the question on...
You'll submit your answer.
Why is it... There was the question on why is it, for example, Boni, in drawing his examples, including mentioning Nyamira, why do they seem, for example, to have a negative growth? If you look at, for example, Boni, in some of those areas, give Nyamira maybe consideration, or even some of your areas. Go to Kajiado now in Kitengela. Kitengela is now another Nyamira. Because, you know, some of those places, they're full. And people have migrated. Do you know there is a very big Kisi community in Kajiado? And that's what has been happening. Those people now are residents in other counties.
But
because
and
that is
just
the
a moment.
demography of the country.
It brings the question of the whole spatial planning from the counties, right? How is this mushrooming, and then you have a concrete spatial planning from the county? What is the master plan as far as spatial planning is concerned? So you cannot be complaining about concrete jungle in Kiambu, yet you as government of Kiambu, you failed to actually give that master plan.
That is the discussion on what extent of responsibility have the previous county government since 2013 taken in properly planning counties. And I would agree with you that, for example, in Kiambu, we must have a proper plan that will ensure that the entire of the county does not become then dependent on other counties, even for feeding the people who
Do you have
who are
a
born
special master plan as it is?
Absolutely.
Why is it not being effective?
And so that's why you hear I'm saying that the planning itself since 2013 up to now is questionable, not only in Kiambu but in many counties. And I want to laud
Thank
some
you.
of the governors I've seen. There are some of them who have taken this seriously, and you find that they are planning alongside the future. And this is what starts to start happening, especially in the Mount Kenya region, where everybody thinks that because land value has risen up, then the next best thing is to sell your piece of land and build a high rise. That's the challenge we've been having.
All right, we wind up
But we'll
on
get it right.
this discussion on the census. We have Jasper Mogire saying something else that has been exposed, the cheating during voting, that is Kiambu 2.2 million as per the census 2019 results, and should have less than 1 million voters, while Tharaka Nithi, we have 300K, they are less than 100K. Enough proof that the dead have been voting. That is what Jasper Mogire thinks.